one and only Stacey Blades.
How you doing, Bay? How are you?
Good, man. Great to finally talk to you.
Well, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, you know what? Actually, I met you when you were still in LA Guns. You guys played a place called the Cube in Delaware, and you guys did an acoustic thing that night. And
okay, I think I remember that.
I was a little drunk, and I met you afterwards and was talking to you and all. And I remember I was just kept saying to you, like, why don't you guys just get Tracy back in the band and be the 5 years, and it would be freaking amazing. And you're like, dude, it's not up to me. It's up to Phil. It's not up to me. It's up to Steve. And so then I had to, like, go break Steve's balls. And I felt bad because I really broke his balls about Tracy, because I had Tracy on the show a few times, and Tracy was ragging on about the whole Steve situation, and then I started talking about Blackie, and he's just like, dude, please, enough is enough.
The past is the past.
The scary thing is, my next interview later on is Phil Lewis, so it's kind of weird. I got the two of you in one day.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Tell my friend.
I will, man. So, have you guys kept in touch over the years, or?
Not really. I haven't spoken to him really since I left the band, and when he does see me in town, he kind of darts the other way, and it's like, okay, whatever, other than. Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, I said you guys are both living in Vegas. That's weird.
Yeah. But we don't really talk much, and he's had a few big jabs at me online, and whatever. He is who he is. I don't hold any resentments or anything. I tried to be a good friend to him, a good bandmate, and he always just kind of kept me at arm's length. So, it's what it is. Wow. It's all good. I wish him nothing but the best.
I guess that kind of led to you leaving them. I mean, where you kind of had,
Yes, absolutely.
Guaranteed work. You know what I mean? They'd always be working each weekend. You know what I mean? And to leave and then start fresh. I mean, that's got to be a scary thing for you.
It is. It's life is full of challenges, and it's. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball and saying, oh, well, I'd have stayed in the band another 2 or 3 years, the same thing probably will happen, or what did happen. So, all roads lead here, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when you have a certain way of life that you do year after year, year after year. I mean, I was in the band for 10 years.
Sure.
So all of a sudden, like, going, wow, okay, what's next? It's pretty trippy, but I mean, I don't regret my decision, and life is great, and I'm like I said, in interviews before, I'm grateful for the gig, and we made some great music together. We did some great world tours. A lot of good memories. There was a lot of shitty stuff too, and it's unfortunate. I mean, he might say, like, I don't understand why he left the band. I'm like, really? Okay. But I don't like to get into pissing matches. It's very juvenile. But again, that's a past. I've been out of that band for 7 years. I've done a lot in that time, and I got a lot of amazing things going on right now. So that is the focal point.
Absolutely. Electric Radio Kings. Like, did you have this like in your mind for a while to put this whole thing together? Because I didn't even realize it has been together for a few years. You've been slowly like
the band has been together for 2 years. I've actually been working with the singer Paul since I left LA Guns. We were actually the last two guys to work with Andy Johns before Andy unfortunately untimely passed away. So it kind of solidified our friendship. Unfortunately, at that time, it just, with everything happening the way it did, it just wasn't, the stars weren't aligned for us to pursue a band situation.
Right.
But, fast forward to 2017, he'd reached out to me again and wanted to do more recording. And I said, "Why don't you come down to Vegas?" Paul lives in New Orleans.
Okay.
And I said, "I got some great musicians here and, access to a great studio at Desert Moon and great engineers and producers." And that's kind of how it started. And once Paul and I started writing again, it was very evident that it was like, whoa, we've really tapped into something here. Because we have a lot of the same musical, influences and likes, and we agreed it's like, let's do something kind of retro, but current, so we decided that let's, make this like Cheap Trick, Stone Temple Pilots, Foo Fighters, that kind of stuff, because those are bands that we both love a lot. So once we kind of had a real straight vision of what we wanted to do, it just really started coming together, and the universe was speaking to us and they're saying, you guys need to take this a step further. Things are aligning this time. So that's kind of how the band started, and we had worked with engineer-producer AJ St. James, who has done some great work with Joe Perry, Johnny Depp. What's the guy from American Idol? Can't remember his name now. So anyways, we did an EP. We recorded 3 songs with AJ, and they turned out great. And we shot the video for Sympathy for Me, and all of a sudden when we released that, it really kind of started garnering a lot of legs and movement and wings.
Nice. So
that came out last year, and we were already up to, within a year, 50,000 views on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
That song broke the top 200 on Active Rock at 152, and number 4 on classic rock radio behind Greta Van Fleet, Cheap Trick, and Guns N' Roses. So we were like, hey, something's happening here. This is cool. Alice Cooper has gotten really behind the band over the last year. He has featured us on his show Nights with Alice Cooper. We were very fortunate to play a show here in town at the Hard Rock Casino at Vinyl, playing with his son Dash Cooper, and Alice was at the show. So that was amazing to get to see him again, because I got to know him a little bit playing shows over several years ago with LA Guns. We played a bunch of shows with Alice Cooper. So to shake his hand and just say, dude, thank you so much for, the push of the band and playing us on your radio show, because it really broke the doors open for the band, nationally and internationally. So that was a very, very, very cool, grateful moment. So, this thing has been building up. So we're really, really grateful right now. And it's very exciting what everything is happening. Within the first week of the new single, Back to Black, we've already charted on Billboard at number 4 within 1 week of most added.
That's wild.
Playlist to Active Rock mainstream radio.
Yeah, it's kind of wild with that. I mean, you guys did the Amy Winehouse cover, and who would have thought of, flipping over that Amy Winehouse and making it a little more rock and roll, and it came out amazing.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of work there. It was Paul's idea, and we're all kind of scratching our head. I'm like, it's a great song. What are we going to do with this? This is not going to be easy. But we all said, okay, Johnny and Del and Keith and I, we all kind of just sat in a room and said, okay, we're going to just do what we can with this. So we spent a lot of hours. So it was, at the time, we were using AJ St. James, who had produced the EP with us. And he's like, well, let's start tracking it like this. So we kind of laid down the foundation. Because as we were doing pre-production, I was ready to throw my guitar against the wall. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. How are we going to make this great? Because she was fantastic in her own right. It's a fantastic song. So how do you take that and give justice to it? So after the initial sessions, we switched producers and went with Mike Gillies, who's Metallica's longtime engineer since the Load record. So Mike came in, and then he kind of just, ripped everything apart. He's like, we're going to redo all this. And he had this grand vision for what you hear recorded. So after the template was already set, he took it a step farther. So that was great to have both, AJ and Mike really kind of just put the thing into momentum, because we were lost as the band. We were lost on the track. We didn't know what to do. We had an idea, but it really wasn't until Mike started, producing it and, adding all these amazing parts. And at the end of the day, we were like, oh, my God, this came out really, really spectacular. And the record is phenomenal, There's so many good songs. It's the best thing I've done to date, and I'm not abashed to say that. So it's a very exciting time right now for the band.
It's really cool, too, because, when it came out, the video came out, I guess, last week, I'm listening to it, and it took me a minute. I'm like, it was one of them ones where, when you're hearing the melody and all, you're like, I know this freaking song. And then when you finally, put two and two together, and I'm like, wait a minute. But I didn't go back and listen to the Amy Winehouse one until, I was sitting down last night, and I was, going through and prepping for today and researching everything. And I went back and I checked out the Amy Winehouse video. And I'm like, okay, now I remember. Yeah. But you guys really.
And that's when I knew. I'm like, Paul, you brilliant bastard. I'm like, because I was somewhat familiar with her a little bit, but I couldn't tell you oh yeah, I love this song from her. I just knew, yeah, she was great singer and put out amazing music, and unfortunately died at an early age due to drugs and alcohol. And then once same day, I watched the video, and that night it just wouldn't leave my head in bed, and I'm just replaying. This is a great idea, because it was the key element right there. It stuck in my head. It's a fantastic song. So the trick was, and the challenge was, to put a whole new spin on it, and it's a lengthy song as well. So how do you, especially for radio, how do you get it down to less than 4 minutes and make it very interesting, and then make it a rock version too? But it's one of my favorite songs off the record. I'm really proud of it, and I'm proud of everybody involved with it. They did an amazing job on every aspect of it.
It really made what it made me do too. Going back and watching her version, it made me appreciate her. You know what I mean? 'Cause it was it was kind of like, all right, Amy Winehouse. I got mad respect. I totally, amazing singer, etc. But I never actually took the time out of my day to purposely listen to Amy Winehouse. But it made me appreciate her now. I was like, wow, that was really an amazing song. And then hearing your version is an amazing song too, and it's got your stamp of approval on it. So it's a beautiful thing both ways around now.
Absolutely, yeah, very well said. Yep, I agree.
Now, if you can just get, here's the scary part that really flipped my lid. She's got 432 million views on that freaking video. So if you can get 10%, it's great.
I know, dude. When I saw that originally, I was like, holy crap! I mean, wow. She's obviously connected with more than a few people with this track. What it is that the storyline in the song, I think, is fantastic as well, and I think everyone can relate to it. It's very dark and kind of depressing and moody, but it's got this haunting melody, and that's really what is very cool, what Mike brought out in the guitars and the melody lines and the breakdown. And, Paul ended up actually re-singing it because Mike had some great ideas of vocal things. And I don't think we could have done any better remake of it. So, like I was saying, I'm super just kind of blown away how great it turned out. So, and everybody's really connecting with it. And the video, too.
Right. Came out awesome.
We did for it turned out amazing too. So all in all, I think it's a winner, and super grateful for how that all has been laid out. Yeah.
And something too, like, and you mentioned it earlier, and a lot of stuff I kept reading, you kept bringing up this one band name, which is kind of like me personally, I get it, but also too, like, we're about the same age, and you think to ourselves, like, you've been around the block a minute, especially you kind of got, being part of LA Guns for 10 years, you get kind of looped in with that whole quote unquote hair band situation. But the band Stone Temple Pilots, I hear you guys saying, you're very influenced on with this new project by Stone Temple Pilots. You kind of take a step back and be like, it's kind of weird in a way to hear that.
Well, just because I was in a band from the 80s, that's something, that I don't, it's a genre that I was a part of, but it's it wasn't my life or anything. I liked all kinds of music. So it's not that it's like, well, if somebody might be caught off guard me saying this, it's like that was actually one of my favorite bands in the 90s. I'm like,
me too, yeah.
I still to this day, they're one of my favorite bands. I mean, I like all kinds of, of rock and metal, everything from, Wasp to Alice in Chains to Foo Fighters to, Guns N' Roses and Cheap Trick and Aerosmith. But I love all the new rock that's coming out. And I'm really in a different headspace than I was years ago. And this is the kind of music that I'm writing now, as opposed to maybe doing something that was from that genre.
Right.
It's like how do you describe that? I changed lanes, But at the same time, it's like what's cool about Electric Radio Kings is like if you like 70s rock, you'll dig this band. If you like 80s metal, you'll dig this band. If you like 90s alternative rock, you'll dig this band. If you like bands from 2000 on and everything that's kind of going on with what's called active rock or new rock, you'll dig this band too. So. And we didn't sit there and contrive, hey, we're going to do this. It just kind of naturally came out that way. And I think it's all my different influences as being one of the songwriter. And Paul and I write most of the songs, So it's all our different musical styles that kind of just come into this. And it's just like a big giant flower, it kind of appeases everybody.
Right.
It's not like where if you like one type of music, and then you listen to this, so let me take it. Stacey's new band. It's like, oh no, that's too left turn for me. It's not that much of a departure, but at the same time, it is very different than anything I have done in the past.
Do you think, too, you almost kind of want to make a statement like you're not just that guy? There's more to Stacey Blades than just being the guitar player from LA Guns.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a songwriter. Music is a journey. It's just you don't arrive at one place and just stay there.
Right.
And I've always kind of been that way as a guitar player, too. I like all kinds of different guitar players and different styles of guitar playing. And I always try to be a sponge and absorb all different things. And it just makes you more of a well-rounded musician. It's like I just don't listen to, like, 2 different guitar players and that's it, To me, music is just an open palette. It's a canvas. And I've always kind of had that mindset, And, awesome. When I tell people certain music or certain bands that I listen to, you know, they're kind of surprised, like, whoa, really? And it's like, for me, it's you know, it makes you just more of a well-rounded performer and artist, and as a songwriter. I think that's a huge thing, is to like a lot of different kinds of music, to you know, express yourself. And like I said, it's like a sponge, man. I try to absorb a lot of different things, so I can you know, come across in a certain way if I want to.
Right.
Just write the same song year after year after year, and whether that's a good or bad, you know.
Well, the album PURR. When will we be hearing the whole thing of that?
We just finished mastering with the final mixes with Mike about a week ago. So we're hopefully looking at a end of the month, beginning of April release on Grand Vision Records. So that's exciting. After, you know, 10, 11 months of working on this, it's the longest I've worked on a record. But I'm glad that we really put the time in to make things really great with that, and just tweak every little thing that needed to do with that. So really excited to finally release that and let everybody hear what, you know, we've been working on for, you know, since last May or June, and here we are in March. So yeah, we've been at it for a while.
Now, if Back to Black keeps doing the way it's done, like in the first week out, would you think maybe hold off a little bit, even just to build up a little more wet people's whistle and build up a little more anticipation for people for it to come out?
You know, at one point it's just like either, you know, shit or get off the pot. It's just like, hey guys, look, come on, man, we got to get this out. You know, the next single probably will be, you know, late spring, early summer, and we'll do another video. And we have a great working relationship with a guy named Mason Wright, young guy, video director. He did Sympathy for Me, and he also did the new one, Back to Black. And he's great. He has a company called Keep It King Productions, and he's really, really up on the rise, and he just did a fantastic job. So we'll work with him again. And but yeah, right now it's, you know, I mean, literally we just started radio last week, so we're garnering a lot of steam right now. So we're going to be doing that for the next 2 months and working that. And we are talking to people, putting a summer tour together, and get out and play all these songs. So yeah, we're excited.
Now, is this the only cover on the album, or is there any other ones?
That's the only cover. So cool. It's 10 songs, 9 or 10 songs. We're kind of deciding on that. We should do 9 or 10. There is 10 recorded. And it'll be 3 songs from the EP and 7 new songs. So they're very strong songs. So we're kind of deciding what the next single is going to be. But it's been an amazing process to see these songs really develop through Mike. And it's funny because we've been so used to playing them a certain way that we had to actually relearn how to play all these songs except for the 3 from the EP live, because they've been produced and edited, you know, so much that it's like it's pretty trippy when you have to relearn your own song. But I love that because it's the whole part of the process, you know, and it makes the experience even more special, I think. That's
awesome. Now, you, being out there in Vegas, you had mentioned Desert Moon Studios. Do you see the count a lot?
From time to time, he's a super busy guy because, you know, he's got the show and Counting Cars that he's on a very heavy production schedule. And then, you know, his own band, Count 77, they play quite a lot. So I run into him every now and then. Wonderful guy. And also Corey, his wife, runs the club. And we just played there pretty vamped. We did our national radio kickoff party, and she's awesome too. So lots of love for them. Yeah,
Danny's done the show a few times, so I was going to say, if you see him, like, smack him in the head for me and tell him I love him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a great guy.
He is. He's hysterical, man. That's too funny. Cool. So, summer tour. Any plan coming out the East Coast? I mean, this is exciting now.
Well, yeah, although the Ducks are finally kind of in a row, and that was something last year where we were, although the Sympathy for Me did quite well, we only did a month worth of radio campaign on that. But it got the band legs. So now that we have, the video and the single and the press and the radio campaign and the album, the last little piece of the puzzle is finding a good agent and manager, which we are talking to now. But yeah, we want to play everywhere. So, we want to spread the music to the fans and have people to get a chance to see what I'm doing now, and then they can come see the new band. Because, over the course of several years, I've made some great friends and fans out there through LA Guns, and I'm excited, and they're excited to see, what this whole thing is about, because they only get to see it in little clumps of one song, one video, one song, one video. So that's why I'm so excited about getting this record out, and it's just so amazing, and so people can share it and experience it. But yeah, that's the idea, is to tour all over the place.
Do you think that's one of the toughest parts of like getting your own project and running once you get to the part now that you're getting ready to release the album and everything, where you find the right agent and manager to really get you out there even further to the next step?
Totally, it's hard work, man. I've been playing music professionally for many years, many decades. And I think I have a good name in the industry. But at the same time, it's like when you're starting something new, it's a real uphill climb. It'll test your strength. It'll test your will. It'll test your drive. And that's kind of the hardest thing, absolutely. And it's finding the right guy. We've hooked up with a couple of agents, but they didn't do anything. They sat around for months with nothing. So you got to kind of go through, changing lanes and go through all the cones and to find the right person. But it's very important in putting the right team together with you who understands you or understands like who you should be playing with as far as other bands or support, and what markets that you're targeted to. So that's the challenge too. There's a lot of great industry guys out there, but it's the ones that, I get it. I get what you're trying to do. Now we have a plan of attack. Now we have product. Now we have this. Now we have that. And that's why we continue to work with Gary and Rob over at Landshark, because they get us. Like I said, we've got this kind of straight ahead. It's like we're not classic rock, we're not retro rock, we're a little bit of that, but active rock as well, and they get that. So there's all those avenues that we could play with Sammy Hagar, and people wouldn't be going scratching their heads. This doesn't fit. Or we could play with Stone Temple Pilots, or play with Hailstorm or Papa Roach, and it would be still a good fit. So that's what I really love about this, is it is just so well-rounded musically that we kind of fit in with a little bit with everybody.
Absolutely. It's the way to go.
Yes. Let's hope so.
I
think I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, getting like a Hailstorm tour would be cool, or Alice Cooper. That's like, the best of all worlds.
Yes, totally, exactly. So, this was what was cool too, is that when I kind of changed musically over the last few years, really, it opened up my eyes to there's a whole new world of rock that's doing very well. Rock is not dead at all.
No,
it's really thriving out there. And that was really cool to kind of get into a lot of new bands, or bands that I was already aware of that had new records, and going, wow, this is really great stuff. it's kind of it's rejuvenation, it's like a spark, and I felt like that kid again, like discovering all these new bands, and then rediscovering bands that I had listened to maybe in the 90s or late 90s, and listening to their new albums and getting really, rejuvenated and influenced again, and just kind of just falling in love with music again.
Right.
Because when you've been doing it for years and years and years, things can get a little stale, or if you keep listening to the same kind of music, it's like you kind of hit a wall a little bit.
Yeah.
So anytime you get influenced or rejuvenated, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I go through, like, I don't know if you're a fan of Spotify or not, but, like, if you listen, like, go through my Spotify, like, 1 minute it's, like, Frank Sinatra, the next minute it could be The Sweet, or the next minute it could be Slayer. Like, I'm all over the place, you know what I mean? Like, I listen to everything.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing to do, especially as an artist. I mean, some music fans, they like, they listen to one thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. For me, it was always, even as a kid, man, I liked so many different things, and that's kind of stayed with me. And I love that. It's just like, don't limit yourself to just one music style or just a few bands. There's a whole big world out there.
Yeah, and as far as like people that think rock is dead, I think right now it's thriving more than ever. I think there's actually maybe possibly too much right now. It's just trying to find, because I know it's very overwhelming for me that there's just so much out there, and you gotta like pick and choose your battles at times. Like, all right, like who am I going to listen to now, and who am I going to give a chance to? And when you come across something like Electric Radio Kings, where all right, I know Stacey from the past, so it's like boom. And then when you get to listen to it and love it, it's even better. So it's like win-win.
Well, it's great, and it's cool because it was like you were just saying. It's like, oh, well, I kind of remember that song from Amy Winehouse. Let me go check it out. And then now you've opened up this book, and it's like, wow, this is really great. Let me check out another song. And I love it when turning people on to music, or people, hey, Stace, check this band. You got to check this band out. Or even people, like posting Twitters, or if Eddie Trunk Twitters about a band that's charting and stuff, like, hey, I've heard of them, but let me check them out. I love it. It's like sharing. It's like, if you're, it's like a kid on the playground telling about, all your friends about this new game and stuff like that. I think people really need to share music and really, have an open mind and experience other things. But just grateful to be part of the whole cycle.
I mean, like back in the day when we were kids, it was, you would grab a bunch of your either 45s or your albums, or you'd take this and you would go to your buddy's house and you'd hang out and sprawl them on the floor and, you listen to the music and talk about the music and all. And people don't do that nowadays.
Yeah, I kind of see it changing a little bit, and I think people are just they're hungry for the artists that they love, for new stuff. But I think that, because music has been mainstream music has been so shitty, and I mean so shitty over the last 10 years, with all the pop music, and it's just so disposable that if one new rock band or a band that's been around for a while starts doing well, it's like, oh, we're so grateful.
Right.
That finally, this motion is moving forward. Yep. And it's I really say, and I've been saying this for years, I think that it's starting to happen is a music revolution, because you can only force feed mainstream people shitty music for so many years and years and years and years and years till they get fed up. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. It's a perfect thing with the Grammys. It's like the ratings keep dropping and dropping and dropping. It's like, well, gee, you wonder why?
Right. It just needs that one.
But, you know, rock and roll's always been underground. It always will be, you know. You know that. I know.
It just needs that one song to, like, kick the door in a little bit and shed the light
Well,
onto
I think
it.
just with the resurgence of Guns N' Roses again and among other artists, I think it's just really kick-started rock being a popular genre again. And it'll never die. It never does. It goes through stages, as you know, up and down. But I really feel over the last couple of years, man, it's really making a comeback. And thank God, because we've been subjected to really crappy music a lot over the last decade.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know.
Oh, man. So, all right, so Stacey, where should we send everybody to find out more about the Electric Radio Kings and so they can anticipate this album and everything else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we have the website, electricradiokings.com. We are very active on Twitter, which is ERK Radio 2017. Our Facebook page is really growing. That is facebook.com/Electric Radio Kings. 7,300 members and growing. Also, Instagram, you can find us. And, of course, you know, I'm always posting about the band and things that I'm doing on my Facebook page stuff. So, yeah, we're very active on socials because that's the world that we live in now. All about social marketing. It's a job. I mean, it's 24/7. And if you don't do it, you fall behind.
Yeah, like I kind of scratch my head. Like there's sometimes like when I'm like doing an interview and all, and like people don't have a Twitter, and I'm thinking to myself, really? Like you don't even have to use it. You can just set it up to like automatically do stuff. Come on, like you gotta have something. Oh, yeah.
It's like okay, let's start with one. I got a tweet, I got an Instagram, I got a Facebook. You know, and you have to do it pretty much every day or every other day. It's just that's the world we live in. We live in a social media ocean.
Yeah.
And it's in a way it's great, but in a way I don't know. It hinders things because everything is so instant now. You know, here I am. You know. Rehearsing, here I am at this venue, here I am. But it's this constant flow that you either, you know, get in the lane and swim, or you kind of just stand on the shore and watch everybody move past you. So you constantly have to do it. And that's just that's the way it is.
It's a weird world living in. Can be fun, but it's definitely weird.
It is weird. I will concur.
Stacey, before I let you go, if you can just do an ID for me too. This is Stacey Blades of the Electric Radio Kings, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
This is Stacey David Blades from Electric Radio Kings, and you are listening to the one and only Totally Driven Radio.
Awesome. Dude, thanks so much, man. Congrats on everything, and I can't wait to hear this whole freaking album.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about the band and then promote the band. And, thank you so much. It really means a lot.
Absolutely, man. And I hope to see you guys hit Philly.
Thanks, buddy. Yes.
Take care,
I'll let you know. All right.
All right.
Have a great week, buddy. Cheers.
You too.
Bye.